Under no circumstances must the spiritual disciple try to evade his earthly responsibilities under the pretext of so-called higher tasks. His normal, everyday obligations to the human beings or to the general good that were entrusted to him take precedence over all other affairs. The higher self of no man ever was responsible for the shirking of a duty to humanity. First comes the mastering of everyday life, then the realization of your dreams. A groom expressed to his master a desire to breed a particular strain of horses. The master replied, "Your plan is excellent, but first put the stable in order." The challenge is exactly to do justice to both, to the ideals on the one hand, and to the normal, everyday material requirements on the other hand. To do justice both to the essential and to the dust of the threshold is that test which each one must have clearly before him. The Mahatmas are no elves who transform in flying by with a delicate touch everything ugly into a perfect state. They are, as we are, every day under the yoke of hard work in order to fulfill their obligation towards our earth. Not by the way of miracle, but by that of daily routine do we work. Exactly the everyday responsibilities which fate allocates, not by chance, to you, point the way to the higher spheres. Never will someone ascend who neglects his earthly duties. They are the means of the higher powers to guide us into a certain direction. If we do not comply with them, we miss our mission. We certainly do not approve of those fanatics who abandon their earthly obligations and bring nothing but confusion to all around them. They talk about higher harmonies, but at the same time forget that there must be harmony between the earthly world and the supermundane. This means for the individual, fulfill your obligations at the place on which you were put, as small as it may seem. Work for the common good and rise from this place. If you prove worthy, then, according to the law of correspondence, higher tasks will be assigned to you in due time. Chiefly, all efforts should be applied for the best execution of that work which is given to us, and in those conditions in which we are placed by karma. A conscientious attitude toward everything will push apart the boundaries and bring better possibilities. For money, we should work only in order to earn a modest living for ourselves and the fellow men for whom we are responsible. To that extent, however, professional work is necessary. It happens to be our destiny that, in a material world, we have to earn our right to live through hard work. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat thy bread. No one is allowed to live at the expense of others. No one shall let others work for him. Nobody may refuse to assume his share of the work that is inevitable every day in the community. If any would not work, neither should he eat. This is especially true for a disciple of the Mahatmas. Eventually, each disciple must manifest himself in daily labor and undergo the attack of chaos. In fact, work is the only value that justifies compensation. Earning money is not greediness. To receive wages for work is not a crime. One can see that labor is the one just value. Even Jesus and the apostles worked hard to earn their livelihood. All great teachers labored much, and physical labor was not alien to them. Remember Saint Sergius. Christ also labored much. He earned his living by carpentry and pottery. This side of the life of the great teacher is practically unnoted in the authorized scriptures. This has already in those days frightened away many pseudo-disciples. His disciples were surprised when he, Jesus, wanted to labor with them in order to earn their daily bread. This principle was used by our other brothers too. One of them, when he was an emperor, loved to say at the beginning of meals, "It seems that I have earned my bread." Several of the most zealous disciples have fallen away because of the demands of continuous labor. Jesus' follower Paul boasts to have followed this example, never having been a load to anyone, and to have earned his daily bread through earthly work. Neither did we eat any man's bread for naught, but wrought with labor and travail, night and day, that we might not be chargeable to any of you. I have coveted no man's silver or gold or clothing. You yourselves know that these hands have ministered unto my necessities. We cannot imagine the daily work of these high initiates as carpenter or tent maker accurately enough. They participated in the daily struggle for survival. They were exposed to exactly the same humiliations, injustices, and rudeness by superiors or customers as we professional workers today, without losing their dignity, which lies in their higher nature. So we too can and must go the same way. Do not complain about dull professional work. Higher tasks will be entrusted to you once you are ripe for them. Do not be unhappy because of the necessity for spending so much time earning your living. We must all earn our bread. Indeed, all should be accomplished without retiring from life and by earthly hands and feet. Therein lies great beauty. All the giants of thought created amidst most trying circumstances. All earthly burdens are necessary for the growth of the spirit. Verily, material prosperity and ease are our most dangerous enemies. Nothing extinguishes the inner fire so quickly as security for the morrow. In time, new conditions will come into existence, and the tasks will become broader. Possibly there will no longer be worries about earning a living, but there will be new problems, far more complicated and difficult. We must not try to evade the demands which the present time places before us. We have to educate the inner man. For him, the difficult circumstances of professional work offer the best opportunities to rise. Some of the members are tired because most of them are working people. I think the main reason is that most of them have already been through the first steps of enthusiastic approach to the teaching, and, according to the occult law, they now begin to show their real nature. Many do not realize, or forget, that only in extreme tension of all forces does the awakening of the inner man and the further degrees of transfiguration take place. Such people, in most cases, do not find in themselves enough spiritual strength to resist the plungings of the spirit, which inevitably follow every transport of enthusiasm. If we have realized that broadening of the consciousness is most essential, we will conquer fatigue. We will not miss a single moment for the filling of our treasury of the spirit with the jewels of knowledge and experience. Let us finish the first of the three aspects of our subject by concluding. We are called upon not to depart from life, but to transform ourselves and the world. Not hiding from life, but transforming it is required. When we summon to the far-off worlds, it is not for a detachment from life, but for a discovery of new ways. The mission of man to participate consciously in the evolution means specifically to raise life on earth to a higher level. Each of you knows very well where in his surroundings truth, justice, beauty, or love are being trampled upon. There we have to intervene and help to carry the principles of the rule of the Spirit to victory. This can only be done in the middle of earthly life. Self-sacrifice corresponds to the readiness to attain victory for the cause of the higher world.